Well, I went and did it again. Spent more, bought more than I had originally planned for. We've all been there, right? So let me give you a little bit of backstory. Back in San Jose, there's a place called Rasputin Music, right? I love to go there because I am a huge fan and collector of physical media. So I like to get DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, all that, fill up my collection. Holds a special place in my heart because my mom used to work at Blockbuster back in the day when I was a little boy, man. So there's just something special about holding the actual Blu-ray or DVD in my hand. Love that ish. Haven't really been able to find a place up here in the Lincoln, Roseville, Sacramento area that kind of fits my fancy, if you will. My homie Blaze, one of my coworkers from Lifetime, told me about a place called The Cave. I was like, what? Tell me more. So anyways, just the other day, I went there, checked it out. They had everything. I'm talking about comics, figures, Blu-rays, 4Ks, the whole nine, clothes, shoes, everything you could possibly imagine. Super dope spot. So anyways, I went over there with my son today and I swooped some things, right? Gremlins, boom. Maybe not for everybody. Old school classic to your homie, a Christmas movie, some nasty-ish. When they put the water on the gremlins back, stuff is be popping out, okay? Sick one. Let's go to 310 to Yuma. Look, I ain't gonna front like I've seen the original 310 to Yuma, but when this movie came out, Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, Ben Foster, come on now. And Ben Foster, highly, highly unappreciated actor in his own right. You feel me? So anyways, I did have this one on DVD, but I did not have it on Blu-ray, so I saw it. It was a steal, so I swooped that. Now we're starting to get into it, okay? Princess Bride. Booyah. Back in the day, I was just like Fred Savage in the movie. I didn't want to hear no stupid love story, but my mom talked me into it, saw this. This right here is a low romance classic. Here we go. Don't Be a Menace. Don't Front on This came out 1995. We're talking about the 30-year anniversary of this film. If you don't know about the Wayans brothers because you're a little too young, you're missing out. You better research this family because they are goats, all of them. All right, this right here is a classic. If you ain't never seen it, you gotta check it out for sure. Hilarious. Cable Guy, Jim Carrey, to me is top of Goat Mountain, okay? This guy can do it all. Drama, slapstick comedy, true comedy, everything. This man is great. This movie wasn't very well received when it first came out, but to me, this is a classic. I love it. There's a whole bunch of lines from this movie that I think about constantly in random moments of my life. Love this film, okay? Now, this one right here, Reanimator. Horror classic, definitely not for everybody. True story, there was these girls living down the way from me in our little apartment complex, condo complex, if you will, when I was young growing up. I saw this movie one time in elementary school, way too young for this film. But when I told these girls how this movie went down, my memory was so sharp at that time, and this movie was so gripping and impressionable on me at that time that I got in trouble because my story was so vivid, they had nightmares. Damn. Reanimator. This was a lucky find right here. Steelbook. So anyways, that's what I got from The Cave. Now, I'm about to give you my review for Sinners. This movie was written and directed by Ryan Coogler. It stars Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Delroy Lindo, Jack O'Connell, and introducing Miles Catan. And that's just a few amongst many of the other great actors in this film. Now, if you've seen the trailer, you kind of seen the way that this movie goes. You got Michael B. Jordan, he's playing twin brothers. They coming back to the South, they trying to open up a juke joint. Back in the day, juke joint type of spot you'd go to kind of in the cuts. You're trying to party, you're trying to dance, you're trying to drink, you're trying to get a little, you know what I'm saying. But as a line in the trailer would have us understand, if you're drinking and you're partying and you're dancing with the devil too much, that devil might just follow you home. And that's basically what's jumping off in this film. They got the grand opening, devil shows up. Oh snap, what's about to jump off? And we're gonna find out what happens come sunrise. Now that's all I can tell you. In the trailer, they show Haley Steinfeld turning into a vampires. So I don't want to spoil anything else. The trailer already spoiled that for me. But I'm gonna tell you like this, it doesn't really matter that the trailer may have spoiled a couple of things, because this movie is chock full of development, backstory, and maybe what could be to come. Okay? And I'm gonna break it down like this without giving too much away. This movie basically starts out with these two brothers. We got Smoke and Stack, okay? Michael B and Michael B. They're basically trying to open up this juke joint, so they gotta get signs, they gotta get the food, they gotta get staffing, they're doing all this stuff. Now, along the way, we're not just meeting the people that are about to fulfill their needs, we're getting to know the people that are about to fulfill their needs. So, when the stuff really starts to jump off, we actually care about these characters. Now, let me speak to Ryan Coogler for a minute. This man, in my personal opinion, is a master at his craft. And I say that because if you've been following his career for any period of time, you understand that he can, number one, shoot a film phenomenally. This movie is beautiful to its core, right? Number two, he can give you great character development that's not boring, very engaging, very entertaining, with some thrills, some action, and maybe even a little plot twist here or there. And in this movie, he delivers a vampire film a few steps above the last handful of vampire films that you've seen. I can guarantee that. Now, I ain't gonna front. In the beginning of this movie, Act 1, I feel like it started off a little bit slow, but I can't say that definitively. Some people might feel that way. For me, I feel like, did it start off slow because while I was watching the film, I did feel like it might have been dragging a little bit, but after watching it and then driving home, I'm like, I don't really know what he could have taken out. I thought he did a great job at building some of the key characters and some of the key reasons why we're gonna feel bad if they don't make it, or we're gonna feel super excited if they do. You dig? So I don't know if it's something that I've just been conditioned for as of late, watching more movies on streaming. Now that I'm a dad, I can't get out to the theater as often. So a lot of streaming movies kind of go paint by numbers. Maybe that's a part of it. In the end of the day, looking back at the film, I think that everything was great and it needed in that first act to make Act 2 and 3 play out so well. The other thing I want to say about Ryan Coogler, his writing and his ideas, right, is that he's extremely creative, and you're going to feel it in this movie because vampire movies have been done to death. You feel what I'm saying? But in this movie, music plays a huge role in what's going on. And there's a scene in the film where he blends all different types of music together in order to actually tell this portion of the story. And personally, it could have been done in so many different ways, but I felt like the way that he did it wasn't just entertaining on a musical standpoint. It wasn't just entertaining and creative on a film standpoint, like the way that he filmed it, but it was a great storytelling method given the way that he laid those breadcrumbs into that particular scene leading up to it. So I thought that was fire. Now, I'm not one to front on y'all. If you've seen one vampire film, you pretty much kind of seen them all in regards to how it starts and how it's finna end. The sun is gonna get him, the stake through the heart is gonna get him, silver bullets, garlic, yada, yada, yada. What I love that Ryan Coogler did in this film was, number one, he doesn't necessarily address those things straight on. They're there, but they're kind of in the background. So it feels very natural when you see the characters having conversations about what's jumping off. So that's exciting. The other thing that I love that he did with this vampire film in particular is that there's certain traits that vampires might have, right? If you've seen the recent Nosferatu, you understand vampires might have long, nasty-ass fingers with long, nasty-ass nails. They're gonna have sharp teeth. They're gonna bite you in the throat. They're gonna do all these different things, right? He shows some of those things, but kind of obscure in the background. So when he's leading you into a particular scene or a particular moment, he's doing it in a great way that gives you great suspense. You're fearful about what's about to happen to the characters, and then the camera lingers just long enough for you to see something kind of jump off, but it's really what you don't see that creeps you out, and he gives you that in this film. Loved it. I will say that this particular vampire that's leading the way, played by Jack O'Connell, is dope as hell. The way that this guy talks about his people and how he's turning people and doing things really makes you think about what came before this particular day. There's a backstory there. And Ryan Coogler does not tell you what that backstory is, but there's enough seeds to that backstory that you kind of want to see that grow out. You want to see and understand what was going on over here. You dig? So there's things that this guy is talking about throughout the film, middle of the film, towards the end of the film. And then in the end of the film, the way that it concludes, the actual conclusion of the film, is super fly because of everything that was built into this particular vampire's backstory, things that he knows, things that he addresses, things that he talks about. And then when you see everything kind of play out and come to fruition, fly as hell. It does not feel like it took from something else. It feels wholly original. And the look of it, my God, the gruesome and the grotesqueness of this film is top notch. It reminds me of like a Reanimator. It reminds me of a Pet Sematary back in the day, right? Those old school horror classics where you're seeing skin melting, pieces of flesh hanging off, blood spraying everywhere. I love that shit, right? And you're seeing it in this film. So big ups to Ryan Coogler's creativity, his storytelling, and his ability to give you some classic moments that you would feel you would get in old school films in something today. And big ups for him taking his time. Again, this is me looking back in retrospect, literally just last night. But for him taking his time to build out all of those characters throughout the film, or at least in the first act, because it hit that much harder in act 2 and 3 for your homie. Now let me speak to the acting. My God, the acting was amazing in this film, and it takes a really great director to pull that type of performance out of their actors. You dig? Delroy Lindo is a standout in this film. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think that he was nominated for Da 5 Bloods. Maybe he won for Da 5 Bloods, the Spike Lee movie that came out a few years back. I have to fact check. I'll put something up here on the screen if he did win. But regardless, in this film, he is unlike I've ever seen him before. His accent is on point, mannerisms are on point. I'm not from the South. I'm just simply saying that he don't seem like Delroy Lindo that I've seen before. He is completely Slim, the character that he's playing. Michael B. Jordan, he gives each portrayal of himself as, Stack and Smoke. He gives each portrayal a different swag, a different demeanor, a slightly different sound, and a slightly different look, even though they're twins, right? That's phenomenal. And this new cat, Miles, Jesus Christ, this guy is amazing. When he's singing in this film, because it's kind of like, again, music plays a huge role in this movie. And when he's playing the guitar and when he is singing, it's gonna take your breath away. It's pretty effing phenomenal. I ain't gonna front on you. And his acting is on point as well. Everyone is terrific in this film. So big ups to all the actors in this film for bringing these characters to life. Big ups to Ryan Coogler for being able to pull those types of performances out of them. Now I want to talk about some of the creative choices in this film. If I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me correct, this movie takes place in 1932, right? So it's after slavery, for sure, but you're still kind of in that Jim Crow era. Now they're driving down this road. It's Stack, Slim, Delroy Lindo's character, and Preacher Boy, okay? Miles' character. And they see these guys on the side of the road, with their pickaxes and they're digging ditches and all that sort of stuff. You got the white guard on the horse watching with a shotgun, the whole nine. Now, obviously, these dudes driving by, they're free, but these dudes over here, point is, as they're driving by, Delroy Lindo gets really excited in a way of like, I'm gonna stand with them in solidarity. He stands up, he's yelling something, he's shaking his fist and everything. And some of the prisoners like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, like this. And then poof, you hear a shotgun ring out. As he's telling the guys in the car why he did that, because they're like, yo, why'd you do that? As he's telling them in the car, in the background of his story, you can hear sound effects that play out along with his story. And for Ryan Coogler to film this in a way where you see this just beautiful landscape of these cotton fields, it's a gorgeous day, but there's something kind of sad and traumatic happening on screen, and Delroy Lindo is telling this story, and in the background you can kind of hear the sounds of this horrific story. It hit different. It hit different versus a film where someone's just telling a story in general, or they switch to a flashback. And so I thought that was super dope, and I definitely wanted to highlight that because, again, hit a little different. Also, I will say that there's some things in this film that feel very Martin Scorsese, they feel very Tarantino-esque, and I mean that in the best way possible. Tracking shots, reveals, things of this nature. Super dope, super great. you feel like you're in this situation with these characters. I can't say enough good things about this movie. It was phenomenal. You should go out and see it if you have not seen it. Again, for some of y'all, you might feel like the beginning drags just a little bit. I don't feel that way looking back at it, but in the moment, I did kind of feel like that. But when it gets into Acts 2 and 3, everything that you got in Act 1 that you might have felt took a little bit longer than necessary, played in perfectly. You needed it. So good. I'm keeping it vague about what really jumps off in the film because I want you to be as surprised as possible. Go in fresh. Yo, get to the theater, check this one out for show. Your homie, Jay Green, I'm out, baby. I got Blu-rays on Blu-rays to watch. Holla.